When's the last time you were deceived by a marketing campaign? Maybe you haven't been. Or maybe you got tricked and haven't realized it. Good marketing relies on customers not knowing their secrets. You can be manipulated without even realizing it and probably paying out before you even fully know what's happening. I'll show you how they do it and how you can avoid it. This isn't a marketing scam. I really am Mike with List 25, and here are 25 deceptive marketing tricks we've all been falling for. 25. Aromatic Lures. No one is going to complain about a tasty smell in a store. But is it really what it seems? From cooked chicken to fresh bread, it could be that clever marketers are targeting your nostrils. The aroma of food naturally makes you hungry, and this is potentially dangerous when you're spending your hard-earned money. Stores know that food smells will potentially raise their profits because we're likely to act on impulse. There are even studies to prove it. Experiments involving fruit flies have shown that insects eat more food if a smell is part of the deal. Yes, fruit flies. It may surprise you to hear there are similarities between the insects and us when it comes to a sense of smell, but it's true. Sensors in our noses send signals to our brains, and insects have the same thing, only they don't have noses. 24. The checkout trick. You finish shopping online and now it's time to check out. Just one click and you're good to go, right? Wrong. You see, checking out can be surprisingly expensive thanks to hidden fees. Let's look at ticket sales, for example. Approximately 21% can be added to the total cost of a ticket through something called drip pricing. As the name suggests, it's when companies hit you with extra charges right at the end of a purchase. Ticket vendors are guilty of this, as revealed in an investigation by Professor Stephen Tatalis. It literally pays to read through the checkout screen carefully to avoid being dripped on financially. 23. 7 times lucky. How long does it take you to respond to an advertisement or promotion? You may think it's a pretty fast reaction, but marketers see it as a longer-term process. That's where the rule of 7 comes in. It's an old-school guideline rather than a law. You will apparently need to see a brand message around 7 times before deciding to commit and make a purchase. 7 sounds like a lot, however, if you think about it, it makes sense. There are many ways to see or hear that message, either from a pop-up ad, an Instagram post, or a promotional article. It soon piles up, and each time you see it, you're having a seed planted in your mind. Retention leads you to the cave and clicks, leaving your bank account lighter and those big brands a whole lot happier. 22. Fake scarcity. Do you know what FOMO is? It stands for fear of missing out. And this is precisely what the marketing business relies on when you're shopping online. An example is when you see a message on the product page saying, only 3 left in stock. Or to create more anxiety, it says, only 1 left. It may surprise you to hear these messages can be exaggerated or misleading. They're only there to pressure you into buying. The idea of fake scarcity pushes you to snap up a product, often for an inflated price. The best way to stay safe is to check prices on different sites, not just the one you're looking at. Otherwise, they'll have you hook, line, and sinker. 21. Countdown timers. Is this an online shopping session or mission control? Countdown timers on websites are a great way of bringing drama to your purchase, but do we really need them? All they do is help the seller and stop us from thinking carefully about our decision. Timers are used by marketing teams for things like travel opportunities. A cheap flight to a vacation destination is made to feel like a rocket journey to the moon. Remember, the sense of urgency you're experiencing is artificial, and you respond to it at your peril. 20. Advergames. Advergames are one of the most ingenious and potentially dangerous tricks ever devised in marketing. Instead of putting pressure on consumers, they encourage them to have fun while playing a colorful game on their device. They're strongly tied to the company they represent, with classic Advergame titles including Pepsi Man and KFC Shrimp Attack. As you move through the game, you have the option to click on icons that may direct you to make a purchase. That's tempting enough if you're an adult. But what if you're a child who doesn't fully understand the nature of Advergames? This could lead to parents receiving an unexpectedly high bill from their credit card company. Advertising plus games equals trouble. 19. Misleading comparisons. When a company says they're better than the competition, we naturally raise an eyebrow. However, if they use statistics to show this fact, we're more likely to believe them. Before you click on the checkout button, you should remember that these comparisons are sometimes misleading. Marketing companies love cherry-picking information, presenting the data in a positive light, even though the exact details are far from convincing. Let's say a brand is telling you they carried out an experiment and that thousands of people love their products. Sounds fair enough, but they've left something out. Those thousands of satisfied customers only make up a small percentage of the overall number of people asked. The company chose to highlight the minority rather than the majority. Have they lied? Not really, but they have been misleading, and that doesn't help us save our hard-earned money one bit. 18. Checkout temptations. I talked about online shopping checkouts a little earlier, but what about physical checkouts? They can be a minefield of marketing trickery. Stores position products like candy and gum cleverly at the checkout, which is the perfect place to put them. You're usually waiting to be served, and the potential for distractions is high. It's also kind of aggressive because just as you think you're done shopping, you find a whole bunch of temptations right in front of you. Plus, if you happen to be shopping with your children, they're going to zero in on those candies like a wasp on a jam jar. There's a feeling connected to checkout-based tricks called decision fatigue. You feel tired, and the retailers want you that way. You're in a weakened state and more susceptible to impulse buying. 17. Planned obsolescence. Any older viewers out there may relate to the idea of products not lasting like they used to. It's almost like things are designed to have a short lifespan, so you go back to the store and buy them again. It may shock you to hear this, but I doubt it. But it's a deliberate trick by some manufacturers. When something is obsolete within a certain period of time, it creates a powerful deception. For something like a battery, for example, having it run low faster than you expected creates a sense of urgency to buy a new one. Replacing a product is promoted over the usual instinct to repair it. Planned obsolescence is definitely one of the sneakier things certain companies do to get even more money out of us. 16. Two-price advertising. A surefire way to attract customers is to offer a discount. Unfortunately, that discount may be a marketing gimmick. Sometimes a company will market a product at, say, $50. The promotion says that the product is usually $100, so that sounds like a pretty big savings, right? You can't beat half price. The thing is, you're not looking at a price that's been cut in half. You're looking at a price that's been doubled, then halved. They artificially inflate the regular sales price, meaning you're buying something for what they sell it for in the first place. This kind of two-priced advertising is everywhere. The Amazon Black Friday event has been accused of using this system in some of its listings. It's always best to check if the price is legit before placing your order. 15. Box promises. A box is the first thing your eyes see when shopping for a product. From cereal to toy boxes, they're often colorful and exciting. It can also be seriously misleading. A major deception involves accessories. Parents know what it's like to bring a toy home only to discover that what's on the box doesn't match up to what's inside. The action figure's there, but the rocket launcher they're holding in the promotional image needs to be purchased separately. Then there are the claims made on boxes and packaging. The diet company Airborne got in big trouble for stating that its supplement boosted the immune system. They actually had little evidence for that. Legal action followed, and they paid out over $23 million in compensation. 14. Meaty Specials. Bundles are an attractive idea for consumers looking to save money while also stocking up on essentials. The so-called Meaty Special is a good example of this, offering a family-sized package of pork, beef, and other tasty treats for the barbecue. Trouble is, you might end up with too much meat to go around, and that leads to unnecessary food waste. What seemed like a great idea, at the same time, might leave you with a pile of burgers and ribs you don't know what to do with. Damn those promoters with their meaty marketing ideas. They're happy to offer you bundles of meat and other products partly due to the fact that you're buying more. However, by giving you a bundle of stuff, they're also diverting your attention from the cost of individual items. Sure, you're getting a lot of meat for a low price. But while you're expanding your waistline, those companies are expanding their revenue streams. 13. The 99 effect. Are you tempted when a deal is priced $9.99 as opposed to $10? There's actually a psychological reason for this, and experts call it the 99 effect. It puts the focus on the first number in the price, in this case 9. 9's better than 10, right? Then the effect is completed with the 99, promising you a lower price than 10. The fact that there's a price difference of 1 single cent doesn't seem to stop people from being tricked. You're effectively paying $10 anyway. Let's go a little deeper with this, because there's something about your brain you might not realize. We are programmed to read things from left to right. That's why the 99 effect is so, well, effective. Due to you seeing the 9 on the left, then the 99 on the right. It goes from left to right, therefore it must make sense. Psychology plays a big role in how items are priced. And this isn't a modern thing either. Companies have been using these kinds of tricks for hundreds of years. 12. Fake charity claims. It's a welcome sight when big companies offer some of their profits to charity. You might have bought products in the past which claim to donate a portion of the sales to good causes. Amazingly, this is also a marketing trick. Not everyone does it, but there are cases where false promises are made to the public. This could be stating that 100% of profits will go to charity when the reality is only a fraction of the amount is paid, or maybe none at all. A company could also put the logo of a charity on its packaging without the charity's agreement, further tempting you to make a purchase. It's a shameful and illegal practice, not to mention one that's been used over and over. 11. Overcomplicated return policies. Returning an item should be one of the most straightforward things in the world. And sometimes it is, but a lot of the times it isn't. Whether your purchase is defective or you got home and realized it was the wrong fit or whatever, return policies are unnecessarily complicated. It's in the interest of companies to put up roadblocks when you're trying to get a refund. They might set a tight deadline on returns or charge fees to send items back. An old school way to discourage returns is to supply a lengthy form, meaning you spend a long time filling in the different fields. Or you might be redirected to an AI chatbot, which keeps you going round and round in circles till you just give up. Customers shouldn't have to be so patient, but it's the only way you're going to avoid being ripped off. 10. All natural. In a world of food additives and saturated fats, the words all natural are very reassuring. You see it on food, drink, and other products like makeup. Are these things really all natural? Well, what do you think? Some organizations will say anything to guarantee sales, or they're relying on dodgy science and didn't do their research properly. For example, there was a product called Naked Juice, which promoted itself as an all-natural drink. Sadly, this wasn't quite accurate. They were hit with a class action lawsuit which claimed the company used genetically modified ingredients. Naked Juice's owner, PepsiCo, would later settle for a cool $9 million over the labeling error. Being good to your body and the planet comes at a cost, and when you mislead customers over this, the cost is even higher. 9. Shrinkflation. If you don't know the word shrinkflation, you'll be aware of the effect it has. When you go into a store and see your favorite product, yeah, it's probably been impacted by shrinkflation. So, what is it? Well, it's when the packaging is noticeably smaller, but that's not backed up by the price. They've gone smaller and decided you still need to pay the same amount. Why? There could be various explanations, from more expensive ingredients to general greed. However it happens, there's no getting away from the injustice of shrinkflation. Smaller amounts should automatically mean lower price, and that's just the way it is. While it sounds outrageous, this trick isn't illegal. That doesn't mean you shouldn't speak up about it though. 8. Cookie stuffing. Cookie stuffing is a delicious idea. Or rather, it would be if we were talking about chocolate chips or oatmeal and raisin. Ugh, no, oatmeal and raisin's awful. The kind of cookies I'm talking about are online ones. They attach themselves to you as you browse the internet. In fact, many sites rely on them. We've seen the warnings we get when we visit a new site. Accept the cookies or face the consequences. Unfortunately, there are also consequences when you do accept cookies, such as cookie stuffing. This is the wild west of marketing, where sneaky companies give you cookies without your permission. It's like receiving a stamp on your hand after visiting a club, only you never went to the club in the first place. Your hand tells a different story. Through these unauthorized stamps, marketers make money at your expense. The trick is used by affiliate marketers, people whose business comes from customers clicking on affiliate links. It looks like you clicked on an affiliate link, but you didn't. It's one of the most underhanded tricks in the business, and it's heavily frowned upon. 7. Forced continuity. Free trials are an effective way of trying before you buy. For marketers, however, they're a deceptive trick, and one that's easy to fall for. Many of us act on impulse when clicking yes on a free trial option. You're given a week or a month's free use of the product or service before you're auto-registered for a year's subscription. A lot can happen in that time. Companies are hoping you'll forget and be enrolled before you remember to cancel. Even if you try to cancel, it can be surprisingly difficult. Clicking yes took a matter of seconds, but for some reason, canceling stuff takes longer, sometimes days. Forcing you to accept the continuity of a year's subscription is not cool, so you have to be extra careful when taking advantage of a supposedly generous offer. 6. Confirmshaming. Putting pressure on customers is bad enough. Confirmshaming is surely going one step too far. This clever yet deceptive trick targets you when you're about to make a critical decision, catching you off guard with emotionally charged language. You thought you were dealing with a passive website, and all of a sudden, it's talking back to you, challenging you, or even mocking you. What's an example of confirmshaming? Let's say you're offered access to a service online. You can click yes or no. In the world of confirmshaming, these words are far from simple. Instead of no, a site may add a little sentence like, "No, I don't like saving money." That will immediately make you stop and think. Firstly, it's not what you expected to see. Secondly, it tries to force you into clicking yes because otherwise you feel you'll be worse off. At this point, it's better to stop and take a breath. These marketing experts are ruthless and are banking on you making an instant decision. Don't give them the satisfaction or you'll be handing them an easy win. 5. Pop-ups. Pop-ups can be a sign of something nasty on your device, but they're also used in marketing. Either way, they've been around for years, and people find them equally annoying. Genuine marketing pop-ups are definitely safer. That said, they're still targeting you for sales purposes and need to be treated with caution. The psychology of pop-ups lies in the constant bombardment. If all you want to do is visit a site quickly and you see a bunch of pop-ups, you may start clicking on them without paying attention. You aren't thinking clearly because you're in a hurry and you want to get them off your screen. Frustratingly, companies know this and deliberately aggravate you in hopes you'll inadvertently say yes to something. 4. The razor blade model. This tried and tested marketing method has been around since the early 20th century. It's called the razor blade model because the person who made it popular was King Camp Gillette, founder of the Gillette shaving empire. What an incredible name! And it turned out he was a king of marketing too. Today, we associate Gillette with disposable razors, but these came later. King Camp made the brilliant decision to turn permanent razor products into disposables. The razor holder would be cheap. Meanwhile, the replacement blades would be competitively priced. This business ethos has been applied to everything, from printers to coffee machines. You can't use the products without replacement parts, and the companies know they have a captive audience. It's appropriate that this all began with razors, as some of these prices cut deep. 3. Truncated unit pricing. Strange as it may seem, sellers don't always use accurate numbers when doing math for their products. Truncated unit pricing is a curious trick because it's partly done out of necessity, with the deception happening as an offshoot of that. I'll explain in a little more detail. When calculating prices, companies round down the numbers to get a unit price. What's that? A unit price tells you what everything costs at a micro level. In other words, the price of a product per gram or kilogram. These unit prices are typically displayed under the main price on packaging. Now, I mentioned earlier that this was a necessity for sellers. How come? It's because they're legally required to show the unit price. After calculating it, they cut it down, which is where things become potentially misleading because the unit price isn't always 100% correct. The pricing can be affected by things like human error, so they're not as precise as you may think. 2. Low battery pricing. Who knew there was a connection between your phone battery and how you shop online? Low battery pricing is another way in which marketers take advantage of people's stress. This trick works when you're at your most anxious, trying to get everything done on your smartphone before its battery dies and, oh my god, it's game over. Companies are actually able to detect if you're running out of juice. They like it, as you're more likely to impulse buy or respond positively to a pop-up. A high-profile case of alleged low battery pricing happened with Uber, when the company was accused of exploiting passengers with higher prices. I should state that Uber denies this. Even so, the story is a useful reminder of how you can be monitored through your smartphone in small and surprising ways. 1. Misled Loyalty. Major brands love to reward loyal customers. But the question is, are they rewarding us, or are they setting a trap? It looks good from the outside, with exclusive offers and other perks. Look closer, however, and you'll see signs this isn't as good as it seems. With all those bonuses come a bunch of small print you need to read through in order to understand the deal. Starbucks customers, for example, found themselves with a headache, and it wasn't through drinking too much caffeine. The company decided to change its rewards program, basing it on dollars spent rather than the number of visits. This played havoc with the system, meaning you had to visit many more times in order to earn your precious stars. Because this wasn't clear from the promotion, coffee drinkers got the shakes. I don't know about you, but I feel a lot more clued up about marketing tricks. Is there anything here that really surprised you? Let me know in the comments below. And this isn't the end of the story either. If you're brave enough to learn more about the crazy tricks people use to get you to buy stuff, then check this out. 25 shocking tricks used by the commercial advertising industry. Click here right now, no pressure, and I'll see you soon for a whole new list.